You know that feeling when you're like listening to a really great song, and right as it builds up to that final satisfying chord, the power just cuts out.
Oh, man, yeah. It totally leaves you hanging. There's this physical tension, like a sense of, wait, where is the resolution?
Right, you're just left with this lingering emptiness. And well, according to a video from the YouTube channel Library of Thoth, millions of people experience that exact same abrupt cutoff every single day, right after they say the word amen.
Because there's literally a missing piece right there.
Exactly. I'm your host, and today our mission on this deep dive is to see how the Lord's Prayer went from this physiological breathing practice to a standardized recitation.
And, we really want to unpack why recovering its original form might actually offer a powerful tool for your own mindfulness practice today.
Yeah, but to understand how we lost the ending, we have to look at this massive historical omission. We're talking about texts buried in sealed clay jars in Egypt around, I think, 367 CE.
Near Nag Hammadi, yeah. And to be clear, this isn't about some personal spiritual failing on anyone's part. Monks literally hid these documents in the desert.
Because the newly centralized church was basically destroying anything that didn't fit their standardized narrative.
Exactly. They were trying to preserve them from institutional erasure.
And, I mean, translating the surviving original Aramaic into Greek, then Latin, and finally English, it's like running Shakespeare through Google Translate 5 times.
That is a great way to put it.
So I have to ask, did we just lose a few poetic words along the way, or did we lose an entire, like, spiritual technology?
Oh, we absolutely lost the technology.
Hmm.
And the reason those buried texts look so completely different from what we read today is because of the language itself. Aramaic wasn't just spoken, right? It was a breath-based language.
Wait, breath-based? What does that actually mean in practice?
Well, the words were meant to be literally felt in the body. Take the opening word Abwan, which we usually translate as Our Father. It isn't describing like a distant figure sitting on a throne. It's actually built on the very sound of breath itself. It means a presence dwelling within you.
Oh, wow. So you're saying this wasn't just a metaphor, it was a literal instruction manual for the body.
Exactly.
So if Ablin is about breath, what about the rest of the prayer? Like the line about forgiving debts or trespasses.
Yeah, so the Aramaic word used there is cobra, which literally translates to entanglement.
Entanglement, that's so different.
Right. It's not about balancing a moral or financial ledger. It's about untangling yourself from past pain.
Mm-hmm.
Early Christian mystics, like the Desert Fathers, they didn't just recite this text.
They actually practiced it.
Yeah, they practiced what they call breathing God. It was a highly intentional physiological circuit, not just a mental recitation.
Okay, but hang on, let me push back a bit here. Because it's easy to think, oh, were these early church leaders just power-hungry villains trying to suppress mystical truths so they could control people?
Right. I mean, that's a really common assumption, but no. It was just pure practicality. By the 4th century, Christianity was becoming the official religion of the Roman Empire.
So they had to unite this incredibly diverse population.
Exactly. The church needed a unified liturgy for massive public worship. Individualized mystical breathing practices were just sidelined so congregations could chant together.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they even added the familiar doxology, the "for thine is the kingdom" part, simply to give everyone a synchronized stopping point.
Let's dig into that stopping point.
Yeah.
Because halting the original prayer at deliver us from evil, well, to me, it's like unplugging your phone before the battery circuit completes.
Oh, that's a perfect analogy.
You do all this work to establish a connection, and then boom, you just hang up.
Yeah, and modern neuroscience actually backs this up. Dr. Richard Davidson's research explores how abruptly ending contemplative practices causes a sort of spiritual cognitive dissonance.
Wait, how exactly does that work in the brain?
Well, when you reach out for connection but don't take a moment to receive it, you basically leave the brain in an open loop. It creates a subtle physiological stress.
Oh, wow. So you're actively stressing yourself out.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
But by adding an integration phase, like just sitting and feeling the connection you just asked for, you close that loop.
And that settles the nervous system.
Exactly. Which is what actually rewires the brain for empathy and stress resilience.
So what does this all mean for us today? What is the actual missing piece of that battery circuit?
Well, scholars and linguists have reconstructed the likely original Aramaic conclusion. Instead of just stopping, the prayer originally concluded with words that translate roughly to, "For yours is the spirit and the light, forever breathing through me."
Forever breathing through me. Wow, that completely flips the script.
It really does.
You're no longer petitioning a distant deity. You are recognizing the life force that is already animating you.
Right. It transforms the practice from petition to recognition. It completes the circuit, returning you to a conscious awareness of your connection to all life.
It really makes you rethink how we interact with all our traditions. And well, it leaves you with a question to mull over.
Absolutely.
Think about the daily routines, the secular rituals, or the inherited traditions you practice today. Are you merely reciting the motions?
Yeah, you're just going through the steps.
Right. What hidden, half-completed circuits in your own life are waiting to be fully activated so you don't just pull the plug right before that final chord?